Yo, what is good, YouTube? It is your boy Make America Live, back with another NBA 2K23 video. And in today's video, I'm bringing you guys another top 5 video. Now, as you can see on your screen, in today's top 5 video, I'm going to be discussing the top 5 underrated badges in NBA 2K23. And I'm not going to just be telling you guys, oh, use this badge or that badge is underrated. No, I'm going to be, giving you guys a detailed video of what the badge does, how to activate the badge, and the reason why this badge is underrated, okay? And I'm going to be going in reverse order, so I'm going to be counting down from the 5th most underrated badges all the way down to the number 1 underrated badge, okay? So let's just jump right into this video. I'm going to try to make this video as short and sweet as possible. I don't want this video to go on for too long and stuff like that because, like I said, I try to make these videos as short as possible for you guys so that you can get the information, you can retain the information, and then you can get on the game and obviously play and use this information to make your builds better and stuff like that and your experience with the game better. So enough talking, let's just jump right into the video. At number 5, I have the Mismatch Expert badge, 5th most underrated badge. Now, Mismatch Expert, it improves the ability to beat a taller defender off the dribble in one-on-one situations. The reason why this badge is really underrated is because most people are making 6'8", 6'9" builds. I'm seeing a lot of 6'8", 6'9" PGs. When it comes to small forwards, I'm seeing 6'9s and 6'10s. There's a lot of tall builds. You see an influx of 6'11", 7-footers, and even 7'3" centers again in NBA 2K23, which means that the shorter players, while at a slightly disadvantage, they're going to still have an advantage when it comes to speed, when it comes to speed with ball, speed off the dribble and stuff like that. And a badge like Mismatch Expert is only going to boost that advantage even more. You know what I'm saying? So when you pair a badge like Mismatch Expert paired with like Quick First Step and then Clamp Breaker, it's going to just go super crazy. And that's what Mismatch Expert does. It helps you beat taller defenders. And I think that's the reason why it's one of the most underrated badges in NBA 2K23, because everybody has taller builds, which means if you make a build that's 6'5", 6'4", or lower, you're probably going to be matched up against somebody that's 6'6", 6'7", or 6'8", or taller, which means you're going to have that advantage of being able to beat them off the dribble. So this is why, you want to take this Mismatch Expert badge. Now, I have 2 builds, or multiple builds actually, because I have a 6'7" build, I have 2 6'5" builds, and I have a 6'6" build, PG build or whatever like that. And I'm using Mismatch Expert because I want that advantage of beating people off the dribble when I drive and stuff like that. It's going to make it even easier to beat people off the dribble and stuff like that. And when you're beating them off the dribble, you can kind of control where you get to your spots on the court. You know what I'm saying? I could easily beat them off the dribble and then do a step back. They're going to be running into the paint thinking I'm on a rim run, and now you got a wide open mid-range or 3. You can kind of toy and play with them with this Mismatch Expert badge. It is really underrated, but a lot of people don't really get the full effect of it because they're running on a 6'8", 6'9" build, and everybody in this game is 6'8" and 6'9", so you never really get the full chance of really getting the benefit of this badge because everybody is on a tall build this year. Moving on, the number 4 most underrated badge, in my opinion, is Volume Shooter. Every year, I see a lot of people pass over this badge. Now, what Volume Shooter does is you get an additional boost to your shot attributes after taking a handful of shots, and then you have to maintain, I think, taking one shot like every minute or something like that, which is a lot easier in park and stuff like that. It might be a little bit harder if you're not like a main scorer, you're not a guard build, and rec and pro-am and stuff like that. But if you are a really good shooter, you're still going to find use out of this badge, because even when I'm on my center build, or even if I'm playing power forward, once my team sees that I'm greening shots and stuff like that, even the randoms, they're terrible. We know randoms are terrible, but even the randoms, when they see that I green 2-3 shots in a row, guess what? They make it a habit to try and get me the ball, because why? They want to win the game. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times when you're on a big and you can shoot, the center usually stays out of the, off of the perimeter, because they want to be in the paint for the rebound, not realizing there's not going to be a rebound if you're leaving me wide open. So that's why I feel like Volume Shooter is such really underrated badge. Now, people probably would choose Green Machine over Volume Shooter this year because, you have to green in order to make the shots and stuff like that. But the thing is, Volume Shooter is so good because you don't even have to make the shot in order to get that boost. You just have to take the shot. So that's why I feel like volume shooter is really underrated this year. You know, you're not going to be hitting an influx of whites, but volume shooter giving you that boost will give you a little bit more chance to not only find that green window, but also to hit that white on the off chance you don't green the shot. Now, moving on to our next badge, our third underrated badge. And it's a badge that I think a lot of people misconstrue. They looked at the description and they thought the badge was going to be one thing, and it's a completely different thing, and that is the guard up badge. Now, what the guard up badge does is it increases the ability to make jump shots when defenders fail to properly contest. Now, what guard up is basically a kind of light version of Deadeye, in the sense that Deadeye is a badge that helps you knock down shots when people are lightly contested or they're hitting you with a late contest. That's what guard up does, but guard up does that when they're not putting a hand up. Now, I thought a lot of people felt like, oh, this badge was going to be like Blinders 2.0 or Deadeye 2.0 or a mix-up of Blinders and Deadeye. No, that's not what it is. Guard up is still very useful. Why? Because when those guys come over to you late as hell and they don't even have a chance to put up on the right stick, all they can do is just hold turbo and run to you and try to get a contest. That right there is what guard up is. That is literally what guard up does. It's going to help you knock down those shots when somebody just runs over to you and they don't get a hand up. They're just trying to help or make a rotation. They make a rotation late and stuff like that. But the really good players understand that. The really good players in this game read the description and they understand how the badge works and how the badge triggers. Bad players are thinking that, oh, it's going to be Deadeye, it's going to be Blinders, it's going to pop up every time, it's going to help me knock down super contested shots. No, that's not what guard up does. It's a light version of Deadeye, okay? That's going to be what's useful when, you know, somebody's coming across the court. You know, you're a center, you're sitting corner 3, and your center has to run out to you. He doesn't have a chance to jump or put the right stick up to get a contest. So all he does is hold turbo and run over to you and hope that he can get a contest on you. That's when guard up is going to come into the play, and that's why guard up is seriously underrated. Now, obviously, Deadeye might give you a little bit more of a boost, but I do feel like taking guard up at a low level of bronze or silver is going to help when it comes to being a knockdown spot up shooter. And that's the thing. People underrate this badge because they thought that it was going to be or was going to function exactly like how Blinders and Deadeye function, and it doesn't. But it still triggers to stop people from getting contests and stuff like that on you. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's why it's still an underrated badge. Now, moving on to our second most underrated badge is Workhorse. Okay, and Workhorse, what it does is it increases a player's speed and ability to pick up loose balls over the opponent. It's basically Hustler from last year. You know what I'm saying? It speeds you up. It helps you get to the ball quicker and stuff like that for loose rebounds, for poke balls loose, and stuff of that nature. Even tip passes and stuff like that. It will speed up your animation and ability to grab the ball or whatever like that. And that's why this badge is so underrated, okay? Think about it like this. Interceptor on Hall of Fame will cost you 7 to 8 badge points on defense, right? For Hall of Fame Interceptor, for passing lane steals. But what people fail to realize is that people say that Silver Interceptor and Bronze Interceptor is bad because they get tip passes, but they don't snatch the steal. You tip it, you tip the ball out of bounds and stuff like that, and even I can admit that. When I run Interceptor on Bronze and Silver, I'm tipping the ball out of bounds, I'm slapping the ball away, but I'm not grabbing the ball. The reason why you're not grabbing the ball is because you're not using Workhorse, okay? Now, if you can take Interceptor at Silver, which only costs 2 points, you know what I'm saying? And then you can take Workhorse for Silver at 3 points, you just spent 5 defensive badge points to get passing lane steals because you're going to have Silver Workhorse and Silver Interceptor. 5 badge points versus spending 7 or 8 badge points for Hall of Fame Interceptor for passing lane steals. You're still going to get that same amount of influx steals or whatever like that, where it's only going to cost you 5 points in Silver Interceptor and Silver Workhorse versus 99 steal and 7 badge points on defense. So it's the trade-off, you know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, that's for passing lane steals. That's not going to incorporate getting steals with glove and plucks and stuff like that. So you still might want to have that 99 steal for those plucks and stuff like that, poking the ball loose. But if you're talking about passing lane steals, you can go with silver interceptor and a silver workhorse and still get those passing lane steals that you could at a Hall of Fame interceptor. And then another reason why workhorse is so underrated that, you know, a lot of people don't talk about is that workhorse is super underrated because you're also getting that ability to pick up the ball when somebody pokes the ball loose on you. So let's say I'm dribbling, and somebody poked the ball loose. The reason why a lot of times you aren't getting the steal when somebody pokes the ball or when you poke the ball loose or whatever, and they're able to pick the ball up immediately, is because those people are running workhorse, or they're running a workhorse on a level higher than yours. So you might be running bronze workhorse for a slight advantage, and they're running silver or gold. So that's why I feel like workhorse is such a really good badge, because it's a defensive badge, but it also gives you an offensive advantage too. You know what I'm saying? When somebody on your team shoots the ball and brick it or whatever, you have an advantage of chasing down that rebound. Obviously, rebound chaser is going to help you as well, but workhorse is going to help you chase that long, loose ball rebound. It's also going to help you pick up the ball when somebody plucks the ball out of your hand. You're going to be able to pick it up faster and scramble for the ball faster than they would be able to run and scramble for the ball and stuff like that. So workhorse is going to not only help you on the defensive side of things with passing lane steals and stuff like that and poking the ball loose and picking it up, but it's also going to help you on offense when somebody pokes the ball loose from you and you lose the ball. So that's why workhorse is such an underrated badge. And then finally, we're going to go into our last underrated badge, and that is going to be the Menace badge. The Menace badge is hands down the most underrated badge in NBA 2K23, and I don't feel like a lot of people are talking about this badge enough. Now, I don't know if people aren't talking about Menace because they don't want the 2K community to know how good the Menace badge is this year, and they don't want to have to deal with it, or maybe they just don't know how good the Menace badge is because nobody's running it. And the reason why Menace is so underrated this year is because it was awful last year. It was dog shit. The badge was terrible last year. The game was so quick, the game speed and everything was so fast that you didn't really have a chance to physically body bump people and stuff like that. Unless you got them stuck in a clamp animation, you weren't going to really be close enough to really put Menace to effect. And because of that, it was pointless. You would have to be crowding them or physically touching them to get Menace to work. And with the way left-right dribbling and stuff was in NBA 2K22, it was damn near impossible to really even get that. You kind of wanted to stay unstuck from them so you couldn't guard the left-right and stuff like that. But this year, with the game speed being so much slower, dribbling being so much slower, just the pace of the game being so much slower, and steals being so good this year, steals being overpowered, really, you know, Menace is going to drop their attributes. That's what Menace does. When you're, you know, playing really good defense or physically crowding somebody, it drops their attributes. And, you know, you can already steal the ball from people with low steal. I get steals all the time with a 27 steal on my 3-level score. You can rip people with a 30 steal, a 40 steal, a 50 steal, glove, no glove, bronze glove, Hall of Fame glove. It's all the same. It does not matter. You're ripping the ball regardless. If you know when to reach or what angle to come from to get a rip steal, you can steal the ball every single time somebody brings the ball down the court. And that's the reason why this badge is so underrated, because you can also tip the scales in your favor, because if you're guarding somebody who has let's say a 89 ball handle, right? You guarding somebody with an 89 ball handle. If you have Hall of Fame Menace, you're going to drop their ball handle from an 89 to an 85. That's if you run in Hall of Fame. Now, obviously, you may or may not be running Hall of Fame Menace, and that's up to you entirely. But for example, let's say that you're running Hall of Fame, you know, Menace, right? You're now dropping that 89 ball handle and gold unpluckable that they have to an 85 ball handle and gold unpluckable. So that means that if you have a 85 steal, you now have like really a 50-50 chance pretty much to get that steal, because now you're not only are you already having an advantage of being able to pluck them, but now you're bringing their ball handle down to match what your steal is. So if you have silver glove with 85 steel, and they have 85 ball handle now with the gold unpluckable. Who do you think wins that matchup? You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying you're going to get the steal every time, but you're bringing your chances in your favor. You're bringing the chances down to your side, you know, basically. So that's why I think Menace is going to be such a problem this year. And the thing is, people don't really realize that because how bad Menace was last year, and I tend to notice that with the 2K community, when a badge is dog shit or absolutely terrible the previous year, nobody even touches it. Like, you look at how nobody touched Pro Touch last year, and then look at this year, even though we know Pro Touch is awful pretty much this year, except for like the bronze level, nobody's touching Pro Touch. Even without knowing that Pro Touch was useless this year, nobody's even touching it, even regardless, because they knew how awful it was last year. You know what I'm saying? Unless you took hook shots. If you took hook shots, then obviously you use Pro Touch. But if you wasn't using the meter to take hook shots, then you wasn't even using Pro Touch last year. And same thing with this year. You know, if you're going to use, you know, the meter to do hook shots, then obviously you're going to take some level of Pro Touch, most likely bronze, but you know, it's the similar way how Menace is. People aren't touching the Menace badge because they realize how dog shit awful it was last year. But I promise you, this year, Menace is a top badge, and it's going to be underrated as hell. You're not going to see a lot of people running it in Season 1 and Season 2, but I promise you by Season 3, Season 4, Season 5, when people finally wake up and realize how good Menace is going to be this year, you're going to see a lot more people running Menace. You're going to see a lot of lockdowns running this badge. But it's been your boy, Make America Lit. Please be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe for more NBA 2K23 content. And, of course, top 5 videos. I'm out.